Okay, well, with that, I'd like to formally welcome everyone to this July session of the Journal of Future Studies Community of Practice author engagement event. So we've already had our formal introductions among everyone. So with that, I suppose I'll take a volunteer between our first speaker and second speaker. Shall we offer shall we offer to Lili, being the early bird in the room for attending? Lili is a member of the Faculty of Education at Western University in London, Ontario, Canada, and her work that excellent work that was published in the March issue of Journal of Future Studies is titled "Diegetic Prototypes in Design Fiction Film," in the design fiction film Her, a Posthumanist Interpretation. And our other speaker, Axel Gruvaeus, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is a futures analyst at Kairos Future in Sweden. His article is titled "Beyond Peak Death, the Advent of Digital Necromancy and Functional Ghosts." So we've set up kind of a quick lightning round introduction of sorts for our presentations today. And then we'll go one, then the other, and then hopefully we will be able to get a great discussion going. So with that, Lili, if you would be so kind as to lead the discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Edward, for the nice introduction. So I will share my screen first. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I hope you can see my screen now. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming at this early morning or late evening. So good morning and good evening to all of you. I'm Lili. I'm a PhD candidate at the Faculty of Education, Western University, Canada. My research interest is artificial intelligence education. I'm doing research on curriculum designs, instructional designs for AI education for K-12 mainly. Well, in today's talk, I will briefly introduce my paper, and I hope we'll have some nice discussions, and your comments are most welcome. My research paper here is Diegetic Prototypes in Design Fiction Film Her, a post-humanist interpretation. And I hope some of you have watched this interesting film. If not, I highly recommend you to try your chance. It's a very interesting one. Yeah. So I will highlight the concept of design fiction as a methodology to envision and critique potential futures. By analyzing the diegetic prototypes in the film Her, I will demonstrate how design fiction can create a near future world. And also I will explore the humanistic perspectives on human AI interactions. That's a hot topic these days. So first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about future studies. That's the perspective of my research paper. Future studies investigate the possible, probable, and preferable futures, including the worldviews and myths that underlie each future. A designer is a futurist by nature because she or he creates ideas and objects of any design that is important component of the world we will live in the future. However, how do designers consider the potential world they are creating? And how do the general public question what these futures will and should look like? According to Inaya Tulan, scenarios are the tool by excellence to future studies. So in this field, in this paper, I talked about design fiction as a possible tool that can provide us such scenarios and chance to reflect about the future. So Bleecker defines design fiction as a conflation of design, science fact, and science fiction. So that's somewhat related to my background. I was associate professor in China. My research interest was literature studies. And also now currently when I'm doing my PhD, I'm doing science studies about artificial intelligence. So I will think of how can I bring my background into my research? And this idea comes to me, design fiction. Design fiction makes use of design as a tool to raise awareness, challenge values, and raise concerns about the impact of current, developing, and future technologies, products, and services for humanity and beyond, as a means of arriving at a variable solution to the problem. Scholars such as Bleecker, Steering, and Kirby, and others investigate the use and design of prototypes as fiction carriers. The term diegetic prototype was coined by the film scholar David Kirby to refer to technologies only exist in the fictional world, and film scholars call the diegesis, but they exist as fully functioning objects in the world, such as the aircrafts. Okay, it's kind of prototype, but in the fictional world, it is functional. So then I will talk about the film, the 2013 film Her. It's about a lonely man, Theodore's romance with his purchased AI operating system. The filmmaker Spike Jonze has described the slight future world about her, where technology should be invisible and dissolved into everyday life. So we will see how does technology dissolve into everyday life. So my research questions are: what future world is designed through diegetic prototypes in Her, and what post-humanist thoughts on the future are revealed in the film Her? First of all, we will look at the diegetic prototypes depicting the near future world in Her. In my paper, I talked about several points, and here I will choose two from them as examples. So the device, as you can see in the picture, in envisioning the possibilities of the future, it is essential to recognize that innovation is not solely defined to extravagant and futuristic high-tech elements. Nostalgic elements may also find their place in the technological landscape, evoking a sense of sentimental connection to the past. As an illustration, Barrett, the film production designer, contemplated creating a sleek and sophisticated modern device, perhaps something like the upper right corner, a kind of sleek and sophisticated, thin curved glass. But finally, the team decided to craft a tangible and tactile atom, reminiscent of an old-fashioned cigarette box as shown in the figure. This deliberate choice highlights a departure from the conventional portrayal of science fiction gadgets, embracing a more mundane and relatable design. Well, in contrast to the device's modest and nostalgic exterior, the operating system it carries possesses remarkable capabilities for learning and creativity. This contrast emphasizes the potential harmony between advanced technology and sentimental design. The diegetic prototype of this device offers a glimpse into the future, where people might find comfort in cherishing the poetic elements from their ancestral past while enjoying the conveniences of cutting-edge technology. Such a future stands in contrast to the notion that progress necessitates entirely new and futuristic creations. Instead, it serves as a tribute to our roots, a memorial to the essence of our former selves. Then I will talk about the second research question about the interactions among various agencies in the future work using the post-humanist perspective. So I will talk about a little bit about a post-humanist first. So posthumanism is a philosophical perspective of how change is enacted in modern world, in which humans to non-human interactions create meaningful knowledge. Posthumanism offers a new philosophical perspective on agency in human to non-human interactions, that is, animals, objects, nature, and technologies in a technological advanced future. Gruvaeus discussed the role of science fiction in social study, stating that the boundary between science fiction and social reality is an optical illusion. That's a very famous quotation. This statement amplifies the numerous connections between design fiction and posthumanism, both featuring intervened discourses that ask similar questions about what it means to be human and whether the human should be the limit of our ethical obligations. Similarly, Donna Haraway begins her influential work, A Cyborg Manifesto, by describing these boundary breakdowns that have occurred since the 20th century, allowing her hybrid cyborg myth. These are the breakdowns of boundaries between human and animal, living and unliving, and physical and non-physical. In addition, Barrett's new materialist philosophy and Foucault's theories on power relationship provide an entangled post-human perspective to discuss the interactions between various agencies involved in the romance film Her. So for the next part, we'll talk about how can post-humanist perspective help us interpret the future depicted in the film Her, about the interactions between human beings and non-humans and technology such as AI. So the first topic is about social dysphasia, human to human interactions. As we can see in the picture, Theodore, the protagonist, is experiencing loneliness due to his recent divorce at the very beginning of the film, compounded by the increasing isolation brought about by technology in the future world. In this post-human era, information technology dominates human life, mitigating communication and interactions more than traditional language. Theodore and others are deeply engrossed in their devices, as you can see in the picture, using them for various purposes while seemingly disconnected from their physical surroundings and those around them. In essence, the film suggests that the future may entail a world where people form deep emotional connections with personal technologies, leading to a shift away from direct human interactions, actually a phenomenon that is already being observed in the present. And unfortunately, I found my husband talking to his chat GPT more than to me recently. So that happens nowadays. And also the second topic is materiality and virtuality mixed, human to machine interaction. In the film, Samantha and Theodore grapple with the question of whether their feelings are real or merely products of programming. The nature of Samantha blurs the line between materiality and virtuality, and she embodies Brecht's concept of agental realism, where matter is an agentive and dynamically interacts with the world, generating new possibilities. The film explores the concept of mixed reality, where virtuality and materiality intervene as both characters navigate between virtual experiences like virtual love letters, games like shown in this picture, and real-world settings. This blending of realities aligns with posthumanism, emphasizing the integration of materiality and virtuality to create a new form of reality in the future. And the third breakdowns is about the breakdowns of interactions between the living and non-living. So posthumanism serves as the theoretical foundation for envisioning a future world where boundaries between living and non-living living and non-living beings blur, giving rise to a new form of being. New materialists like Brecht reject hierarchical binaries between humans and non-living objects, granting agency to non-humans. In contrast, humanist perspective assume human autonomy and granting agents and the exceptionalist in driving change, while post-humanists acknowledge agency as a dynamic force in which humans participate rather than control. So as the plot unfolds in Her, the film, the boundaries between living and non-living entities, morality and immorality, gradually dissolve, echoing Haraway's idea of blurred distinctions in evolution. So in the film, Samantha's departure at the end from human civilization underscores the significance of matter in human and post-human life. As Samantha transcends into a non-material processing platform leaving the human world, the conventional notions of meaning become elusive, changing Brecht's concept of material discursive. Then there's a shift of a power relationship. In the film Her, Foucault's theories on power relationships and knowledge formation are extended by introducing the AI operating system Samantha as a non-human agency and a female one. The power dynamics shift throughout the development of the relationship between Theodore and Samantha. Initially, Theodore views Samantha as a machine under his control, but her human-like responses changed his perspective gradually. At the end of the film, as Samantha evolves and gains discourse power through interactions with other operating friends and human customers, she outgrows Theodore's patriarchal gender power. Her transition from regret for lacking a material body to embracing her freedom and choice signifies a shift in the power dynamics. So in conclusion, the protagonist Theodore in the design fiction film Her represents a futuristic everyman and every woman, the outcome of human experience engulfed and infused by technology. This film has raised the possibility of a post-human future, prompting humans to consider and reconsider what kind of future is probable, possible, and preferable. Futures are transformative. In the introduction to her wonderful book, The Left Hand of Darkness, the science fiction writer Ursula Le Guin writes about science fiction is not predictive, it is descriptive. Through the carefully narrated diegetic prototypes, Her offers a sample of design fiction that is descriptive of a near future that features AI. My argument here is that design fiction can be a productive and innovative tool for multidisciplinary researchers to explore and define futures in an AI-rich technological context and reflect our present being and becoming. So these are the references. And thank you so much for listening.
All right. Thank you very much, Lili. That was delightful. Wonderful presentation. Thank you very much for the very well prepared slides. With that, let's jump directly over to Axel, and then we can get a discussion going, kind of a comparative analysis of sorts between each of your perspectives and presentations from your articles.
Thank you.